So we'll start off with questions right away. We'll just go around my horn here as I see it. So Tom, why don't we start out with you?
Good morning, you guys. Thanks, Jordyn, for doing this.
Of course.
What can you do for an update for us on the roster availability for Friday?
Well, we are in a much better place than last week. We don't have anybody in quarantine currently, which is a nice feeling after a difficult 3 weeks. So I'm knocking on wood as we speak, but so far, we're in a much better place health-wise. And it's just been great to kind of get the full team back on the same page and starting all the way back, the first week of competition with Ohio State when, we had a few people out and, that kind of trickled into week 2, which trickled into week 3. And, gymnastics is one of those sports where you take 5-6 days off, whether that be because you're close contact or COVID positive, and it takes at least another week to get back to normal. And you really can't safely jump back into full routines right away. So this, extra week and having a few extra days over the weekend to get in a healthier place to allow our athletes to catch up again has been really, really good. And I'm feeling confident about where we are with our lineups, where we are health-wise going into this weekend.
Okay, and what's the taking on Florida on the road? What's the challenge there?
Yeah, I mean, any SEC road meet is always a challenge. Our team knows that, coaching staff knows that. This is our first road meet, so it's going to be a really good experience for some of our young ones to get into a different environment. Although in a lot of ways, going from Barnhill over to Bud Walton was almost like a good practice of what road meet feels like. It's a different arena, a different environment. The only difference is the fans won't be cheering for us this time. But I'm excited to see the way the team responds to getting on a new set of equipment, being in another SEC arena where the energy is always really good. But, no matter who we're competing against, the job is always the same. Go out and be the best version of Arkansas gymnastics that we can be. And I'm really excited about where the team is at and what we're looking towards for the rest of the season. So it should be a great weekend.
Okay, thanks. I'll pass the mic, maybe pop back on at the end.
Okay.
All right, Tara, let's go to you.
Hey, Jordyn. Yeah. You mentioned that you guys didn't take like the entire week off or anything, but did you have to kind of ease some girls back into things?
Absolutely. I mean, without getting into too much detail, any athlete that is out with COVID, if they do end up having symptoms, it's taken them a little bit longer to get back to full strength. It's affected, for some of them, it's affected their endurance, it's affected just their energy levels, their appetite, and, really it's been individual to each person whether or not they had symptoms. So, we've worked really, really closely with our medical staff and with the coaching staff as well to try to be really smart and ease them back in safely so that when we do put them out into competition, they feel confident and they're at full strength, which is, where we were when we came back from Christmas break. So, the medical staff and everybody was telling us the first, 3-4 weeks of January would be a struggle as far as Omicron and how contagious it's been. But I'm knocking on wood as we speak. It feels like we're kind of through the worst of it and the thick of it. And, having our full team, every single member back in the gym this week has been really, really great. It feels like we're gonna start hitting our consistency stride as far as having the full team available.
Yeah, having everyone back, is everyone excited and kind of amped up to get back to business this weekend?
Absolutely. I mean, they're ready to keep going. When you're in season for gymnastics, we compete every Friday night and you sort of get into a rhythm. And, we felt it last year when we had bye weeks, but when you don't have a meet on a Friday night, it kind of feels like you get out of your rhythm a little bit. So we've worked really hard over these past 3 days in training to try to get that competition mindset built back in and do some pressure routines and get them ready and talk about what it's going to be like when we travel on the road. So I think they're eager, they're excited to get back out there. They want to compete. We've got some people eager and fighting for lineup spots, which is always a good thing. So I'm excited to get the team back out there and just keep getting back in our rhythm.
Thank you.
All right, Andy, we'll send it on over to you. Andy, you have any questions? All right. And please forgive my pronunciation if this is incorrect, but Nakadia. Have any questions from you? All right, we'll keep it moving. Jacob, how about you?
Just how have the veteran leadership been during this hard time, kind of trying to get the younger group through something they've, I mean, no one's experienced this, but just how has the leadership been through all this?
It's been good, especially for, the majority of our team that was with us last year. I mean, all of this feels very familiar as far as how kind of tight we need to keep our bubble and reduce contacts, and just how smart they need to be. So it's been a lot of conversations like that of, okay, this is what helped us be successful last year. This is what kept us in the game. This is what kept us able to compete every week. And a lot of teaching the younger ones just about the sacrifice and how worth it is to kind of give up some of those things that maybe you could do in a normal year, but not in a pandemic. So we've had a lot of leadership voices as far as, teaching about COVID protocols and what they need to do and things like that. We say it all the time as coaches, and our medical staff says it, but when it comes from within the team, it means a little bit more to our younger ones. So that's been good. But it's just been a great dynamic, having a lot of seniors, having a lot of experienced competitors, and them being able to kind of guide the younger ones in so many different ways, including just the mindset and the attitude you have to have when, tomorrow is never guaranteed. You never know when, a meat could be pulled out from under your feet, whether it's because of our team or because of another team. So it's reinstilled this mindset of, we just have to be grateful for what we can do today. In every practice, being able to be in there with our team and do what we love, and gratitude for that and those small things, instead of just waiting every week to get to the Friday night meet. That's such a healthy thing for a team. And honestly, it's a great life lesson for any human being to just be in the moment, appreciate what you have today, because tomorrow is never guaranteed. And that's what we felt almost every day last year. And that's what the first 3 weeks have felt like. So that's one thing that we have felt throughout the team, especially this past week. And it's just making them even more grateful to be able to travel this weekend and compete against Florida.
Awesome. Thanks.
Randy, do you have any questions for Coach Wieber?
Jordyn, I'm new to this game, so I'm trying to understand how you as a coach can narrow the margin that you have between yourself and Florida. I mean, every category you go down, it's hundreds of a point. How do you shave those numbers or increase those numbers in order to come out victorious against a team like Florida?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's no different depending on which team we're competing against. And that's the kind of interesting thing about gymnastics, is that we don't change what we do depending on who we're competing against. It's a little bit more predictable, but we just want to go in and be the best version of Arkansas that we can. And I tell the team every week, it's not about beating the other team, it's about beating ourselves. It's about continuing to push our limits. And we were at a 197, I forget, 1.5 against Auburn. And, the goal is to get, a half tenth better from that. And if not a little bit more. And I know that they're capable of it. It's just about putting it together when it counts, and being able to put up not only 5, but 6 strong routines in any meet. And I'm not expecting them to be perfect, or I'm not focused on going and beating Florida, but I'm really focused on encouraging the team to just go out and be aggressive and be confident and translate what they do in the gym and put it out on the competition floor. Because that's really what I want to see from them at this point in the season. And then if we can continue doing that and getting a little bit better each time, I have no doubt that we'll hit our peak, come postseason.
So really what you're saying, it's more about the individual and trying to improve that individual's technique or performance.
Exactly. And we see many of them do near perfect routines in practice, but you can imagine, an event like balance beam that's 4 inches wide, 4 feet off background when you've got, 10,000 eyes on you. That changes things a little bit. So as the year goes on, as the season moves forward, they gain a little bit more confidence, especially on an event like beam. I put bars in the same category where you have to kind of tone down your adrenaline instead of using it, where you were able to do that on vault and floor. So they're gaining their confidence, and we see it in practice. Now it's just about being able to handle the pressure when it counts the most.
Thank you.
All right, we'll just open it up now if anyone has any follow-up questions for Coach Wieber.
Yeah. Hey, Jordyn, do you think Kennedy will be ready for all around? Who might be an all around for you?
Well, this weekend we're planning on having both Kennedy and Leah do the all around. We actually have one or two other athletes who are capable of the all around that you might see here and there throughout the season, but we're really trying to manage their health and not push them too hard too soon. Sarah Schaefer is one of those who she's gotten back on vault this week. And so you've seen her on bars, beam, and floor so far. And, she'll likely be competing vault this Friday. We're not sure if we're going to put her out on all 4 events this weekend, but you might see that later in the season. Mackie Sedlacek is another one who is ready on all 4 events. But again, we're trying not to push her too hard too soon. So we might see her on 3 this weekend, but it's really exciting to see that we have more athletes capable of being in that all-around competition and contributing on any event, but for sure Kennedy and Leah this weekend.
Okay. Well, understanding that you might not have all the athletes ready for all the routines that you would be at max, is this the closest to, like say 100% that you'll have this year so far?
So far, yeah, this is the closest. I, wrote out our tentative lineups yesterday just to kind of review, and this is a great place for us to be in. We've got a couple who are still returning from injury. Maggie O'Hara is another one who we've seen on bars, but she's still working her way back on balance beam. And she, it'll be a few more weeks until she's back on that event. But we can expect to see her late in the season, which I'm really excited about. Another one was Callista Gamiao, and she has been out with a minor injury. She is working her way back, and she will be a stud for us on definitely beam, if not also vault and floor. So we're excited to see kind of where she will fit in to lineups potentially. But it's really exciting, and I'm really hopeful that towards the end of the season we should be at full capacity, and we're just doing our best to manage the health of every student athlete and rest them when we can and push them when we feel comfortable. But this is the closest we've been to our full capacity lineups this season so far.
Okay. So you don't expect to have Calixta for Friday?
No.
Okay. And how about Florida's situation? I haven't been keeping up. Are they good to go? If all's well, you guys fly out tomorrow for the meet?
Yep, we'll fly tomorrow and compete on Friday night.
BetOnline would like to wish you a happy new betting year as we continue our march to the playoffs and beyond. BetOnline remains the #1 spot for all the best sports wagering action for 2022. New year and a new updated desktop and mobile wagering to sign up today and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Just use our promo code BELIEVE to get started. That's BLEAV. From football, basketball, hockey, boxing, and UFC, right to your favorite Vegas casino games. Don't wait to take advantage of all the amazing offers available for 2022. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to wager on all your favorite sports. BetOnline, where the game starts.